U.S. astronauts in space training for deep space missions. New frontiers are being reached as a look is taken into the rigorous training undertaken by us astronauts in space. The incredible physical and mental preparation required for these groundbreaking journeys into deep space will be explored beyond Earth's cradle, the deep space. Challenge astronauts in space have always symbolized human courage. From the early days of Mercury and Gemini to Apollo's lunar steps, and now 2 decades aboard the International Space Station, astronauts in space have tested the boundaries of endurance and technology. But even after all these achievements, the truth is sobering. All human voyages have taken place within Earth's protective bubble. The planet's magnetic field has shielded crews from the most dangerous cosmic forces. The Artemis program is designed to change that. It is not simply a return to the moon. It is a proving ground for Mars and beyond. US astronauts in space will leave low Earth orbit and enter a realm where radiation, isolation, and distance will test every survival system. The challenge is immense. In deep space, there are no quick rescues and no supply runs from Earth. Survival depends on the discipline and resilience forged through years of training. The crucible, physical and mental fortitude astronauts in space must be athletes, engineers, and psychologists all at once. Their training begins with the body. At NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, astronauts spend hours underwater, practicing spacewalks in a giant pool containing full-scale modules of the International Space Station. These exercises mimic microgravity. Every turn of a wrench, every tethered step across a handrail becomes second nature through endless repetition. Yet physical strength is only one side of the equation. Deep space missions require psychological endurance. Astronauts in space may be confined for months in small habitats, facing monotony, sensory deprivation, and interpersonal tension. To prepare, they undergo isolation studies, living in sealed environments for weeks at a time. These simulations help researchers understand stress responses and teach astronauts coping mechanisms for anxiety and conflict. Survival training pushes them further. Dropped into deserts, frozen tundra, or dense forests, astronauts practice staying alive with limited resources. These experiences sharpen instincts and prepare crews for the possibility of landing in hostile terrain after re-entry or dealing with environmental extremes on the Moon and Mars. Simulating the unseen, deep space scenarios, the risks awaiting astronauts in space beyond Earth's orbit are unique. Radiation is among the greatest threats. Outside the magnetosphere, cosmic rays and solar flares bombard spacecraft relentlessly. To prepare, astronauts rehearse shelter protocols, learning to retreat to shielded areas and sustain themselves until storms pass. They also train extensively in spacecraft navigation. Rendezvous and docking, already delicate maneuvers in Earth orbit, become vastly more complicated when conducted millions of miles away with communication delays. Astronauts practice docking with uncrewed habitats using autonomous systems, rehearsing for scenarios where they must rely entirely on onboard skills and computers. On Earth, lunar and Martian analog sites provide a rehearsal stage. Volcanic plains in Hawaii, dusty deserts in Arizona, and even underwater lava tubes are used to mimic alien terrain. Here, astronauts in spacesuits practice geology sampling, drilling for ice, and testing tools for resource extraction. The goal is to live off the land, reducing dependence on Earth. The tech of tomorrow, tools for exploration. Astronauts in space rely on equipment that must function flawlessly. The next generation of spacesuits offers improved mobility, longer life support, and built-in radiation protection. These suits are tested in desert simulations and underwater labs to ensure they can withstand the rigors of lunar and Martian exploration. At the heart of deep space travel is the Orion spacecraft. Orion is designed to keep astronauts in space safe during weeks-long missions. It features autonomous systems, redundant controls, and enhanced shielding. Training programs put astronauts through every possible scenario: power failures, software malfunctions, and emergency docking procedures. Because resupply is impossible during Mars missions, astronauts are trained in autonomous repair. They practice patching hull breaches, replacing circuits, and even fabricating parts using 3D printers. Ingenuity and adaptability become as important as technology itself. The human element, the future of deep space for astronauts in space. The greatest trial may not be physical danger but emotional strain. Communication with Earth. during a Mars mission could take up to 40 minutes round trip. The sense of isolation, watching Earth become a distant dot, is profound. Astronauts must learn to endure that loneliness while maintaining focus. Crew cohesion is critical. Training emphasizes teamwork, empathy, and conflict resolution. A small disagreement can escalate dangerously in a sealed habitat. Astronauts practice supporting each other through stress, ensuring that leadership and cooperation are second nature. In the long term, astronauts in space are preparing humanity not just to visit other worlds, but to stay. The skills they build today, resource utilization, autonomous living, psychological resilience, are the seeds of permanent settlements. The story of astronauts in space is no longer limited to low Earth orbit. With Artemis, Orion, and the training regimes shaping today's crews, humanity is preparing for a permanent presence beyond Earth's cradle. Every dive in the neutral buoyancy lab, every hour in an isolation chamber, every desert survival test is a rehearsal for a future where astronauts in space are not explorers passing through, but pioneers building new homes. One day, when humans walk the red plains of Mars or establish habitats among the moons of Jupiter, they will look back at this era, the age of training, as the moment when everything changed.